Welcome everyone to the deep dive. This is where we take those cultural moments, the stories, the films, the things you think you know backwards and forwards, and we really dig in. We peel back the
So
layers.
find the surprising stuff underneath.
Exactly. The untold truths. And today, wow, we're tackling a big one.
Yeah.
Not just a film, really. It's a phenomenon. A story that's so woven into the fabric of India that, people say it holds the country together.
You know which one.
We are, of course, talking about Sholay. It's transcended cinema, hasn't it? It's become, like one filmmaker said, something that becomes us.
And that's the fascinating bit, right? Because you hear that now, greatest Indian film, a fable, part of everyone's memory, and you just assume, well, it must have blown everyone away from day one.
Yeah, instant classic.
But that's the core paradox here. The incredible irony, Sholay, almost unbelievably, was initially declared a flop. A total flop.
No way.
Yes. Critics absolutely savaged it. Audiences were, well, lukewarm at best. So the real question for our deep dive is, how does a film go from that kind of rejection, that much skepticism, to becoming this enduring myth? What are the hidden stories, the unsung heroes behind it all?
That's exactly what we're going to do today. We've got a stack of sources, and we're going to peel back those layers, uncover some genuinely surprising facts, shine a light on people whose contributions often get overlooked, and trace the incredible, improbable journey of this film that just refused to fade away.
We'll get into the rocky start, the initial struggles.
Yeah, and meet some amazing people who literally risked life and limb making it. And there's this fascinating bit about some marketing genius that really helps cement its place in everyone's minds.
It's not just film history, is it? It's about how stories embed themselves in a culture, how perceptions shift over time.
And the sheer power of human dedication, even in the smallest roles. So get ready for some real aha moments, I think. A totally fresh look at a classic you thought you knew inside out.
Okay, let's dive in.
All right, so let's rewind back to, the summer of '75. Sholay finally hits the screens after this massive, ambitious production, years in the making, and the first reactions start trickling in.
And it's not good.
Not good at all. Can you imagine the shock? This huge epic declared a flop. We hear these stories, anecdotes from back then about people watching it in half-empty theaters, even in its second week.
Yeah, Naseeruddin Shah, the actor Naseeruddin Shah, he actually talked about seeing it himself in Andheri, Bombay, said the theater was half empty. It's so hard to square that image with the Sholay phenomenon we know now, isn't it?
It really is. And it wasn't just, slow ticket sales.
Yeah.
The critics, they were absolutely brutal.
Oh, brutal is the word. Imagine pouring years of your life into this thing and then reading the reviews. The Illustrated Weekly of India just dismissed it, called it just another dacoit tale, nothing new.
Wow. No recognition of what made it different.
None. And then the statesmen in Delhi, they described watching it as an assault. They said, for nearly 4 hours, this film assaults one's senses psychologically, emotionally, and at the end, almost physically.
Physically. That's intense.
Right. Not just, I didn't like it, but it physically attacked me.
Yeah.
And the Sunday Standard, they called it a shaggy dog western.
A shaggy dog western.
A shaggy dog western.
Ouch. That's got to sting. So, okay, they maybe grudgingly admitted the technical stuff was good, like the sound.
Yeah, they mentioned the stereophonic sound. Apparently, people were genuinely looking under their seats for the coin when they heard it tinkle on the soundtrack.
Yeah.
So they acknowledged the tech, but the story, the performances, the heart of the film, widely panned.
It just didn't get it. Saw the mechanics, but missed the magic.
Exactly. Missed the forest for the trees. And here's where it gets even more ironic. In the middle of all this negativity, the poor box office, people started looking for someone to blame.
Oh, the blame game.
And guess who initially got singled out for Sholay's perceived failure? For not clicking with audiences right away.
Who was the scapegoat? It wasn't one of the big stars, surely.
You won't believe this. It's one of the great cinematic ironies that pointed the finger at Amjad Khan.
Gabbar Singh, no.
Yes, Amjad Khan, the guy who played Gabbar Singh. The character who would become arguably the most iconic villain in Indian cinema history. His face, his lines, everyone knows them. But back then, he was the newcomer. Some critics thought his performance was maybe too theatrical or maybe even too genuinely scary for the time.
That's just wild. Blaming Gabbar for the flop.
It's such a stark contrast to the legend he became, isn't it? Imagine being him, a debutante in this massive film, everyone's hopes pinned on it, and then boom. Initial rejection and the blame lands on you. What an absolute roller coaster that must have been.
It really sets the stage for this incredible turnaround, doesn't it? From being panned and blamed to becoming this cultural touchstone.
Absolutely. And that journey wasn't just about the big names or the director or the critics changing their minds. It's so much about what happened behind the scenes, the unsung heroes.
Right. People whose dedication, whose artistry, even whose physical risks really built the film's legend. Let's talk about one of them, Sachin Pilgaonkar.
Sachin. He was just a kid then, really. 16 years old. And obviously thrilled, buzzing to be on the Sholay set, eager for his first shot.
He played Ahmed, right? The character whose death early on really motivates Thakur.
That's the one. His dead body is brought into the village, a really dramatic moment. But here's the funny thing about his first day.
He probably expected this big dramatic scene for himself.
You'd think. He shows up, ready to play dead, only to find out that the first few shots, the wide shot of the horse carrying his body into the village, a closer shot on the horse, they were done by a body double.
Oh. That must have been a bit deflating for a young actor.
He said he was, a little taken aback, disappointed even. But then Ramesh Sippy, the director, pulled him aside and said something brilliant. He told him, Sachin, you're an actor. These shots are for a double. You're not supposed to do them.
Wow. So not a put down, but actually validating.
Exactly. It elevated him. It made him feel important. Like, okay, playing dead requires acting. And I am the actor for those specific moments. It highlighted the artistry involved, even in that seemingly simple task. What a piece of direction.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
It really makes you think about those subtle moments on set. And that artistry, playing dead, got tested again later, didn't it? In the scene where Dharmendra and Amitabh Bachchan actually have to lift his body.
Right. Sounds simple, lift a body. But Amitabh Bachchan, ever the pro, leaned over and gave him some quiet advice.
What did he say?
He whispered, Sachin, zara body loose rakhna. It'll be easier for us to pick you up and put you down. Keep your body loose.
Practical wisdom. Even when you're dead, you need to help your scene partners.
Totally. A lesson in collaboration on set. And Sachin, being the youngest and apparently very sincere, he developed this little ritual for those scenes.
Oh, yeah. What did he do?
Well, every time they filmed him playing dead, he'd hold his breath the entire time, completely on his own, trying to be perfectly still. And then when Ramesh Sippy finally yelled cut, Sachin would let out this huge, dramatic gasp of air.
Chuckles, I can picture it.
And apparently the whole set crew, actors, especially Sanjeev Kumar, they'd just crack up laughing every single time. It became this running gag.
That's wonderful. A bit of levity amidst what must have been a pretty intense shoot.
Absolutely. These little human moments, and get his compensation for this role, this mix of acting and unintentional comedy. It wasn't money.
Really? What did he get?
Well, Sachin had this deep respect for Ramesh Sippy, like a guru shisha thing, so he refused payment. So instead, Sippy gave him a gift, something that was a massive luxury in India in 1975.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
His first ever air conditioner.
Yeah.
From a company called Fetters Lloyd. An AC unit was a huge deal back then.
Wow. That's quite a perk.
And apparently from that day in 1975 onwards, Sachin Pilgaonkar has never been able to sleep without an AC. It started a lifelong habit, all thanks to playing dead in Sholay.
That's an amazing story. It really shows how much goes into even the smallest parts and how relationships shape things. And speaking of incredible dedication, often in really dangerous situations, let's talk about Reshma Pathan, Basanti's stuntwoman. And hey, if you're finding these behind-the-scenes stories fascinating, do us a favor and hit that like button on this deep dive. It really helps others find it.
Definitely like it. And Reshma Pathan, what a story. She's nearing 71 now, but back then she was crucial. Hema Malini's stunt double for Basanti. And you have to remember, a female stunt artist in that era, pretty rare.
She must have been tough. Was she experienced?
Oh, yeah. She'd already done dangerous stunts in Gujarati films like jumping off rooftops, that kind of thing. But how she got the Sholay job was pretty unique. It wasn't about formal training.
How did they find her? What was the audition like?
Well, the team was looking hard for a stuntwoman. They'd seen lots of women who were trained in horse riding in action, but they hadn't found the right fit. So they asked Reshma to audition by just driving a Tonga in a big open space.
Just drive a Tonga?
Yep. She was supposed to go a short distance and stop, but she apparently got so into it, just enjoying the ride and the open space, that she went way, way further than planned before turning back.
Got carried away.
Totally. And when she finally pulled up, the whole team, including Ramesh Sippy, stood up and applauded, just like that. Her natural skill, maybe her sheer joy in doing it, landed her the part right there, even over others with specific action training.
That's incredible. A standing ovation for driving a Tonga. And that raw talent was essential for some of Sholay's most famous scenes, like that insane Tonga chase.
Absolutely iconic chase. Basanti fleeing the dacoits, that whole sequence, her jumping onto the moving Tonga, riding off like mad, that was all Reshma Pathan.
All her. Hema Malini wasn't doing any of that.
Hema Malini did the close-ups, of course, shot separately. But the actual high-speed, dangerous chase, all Reshma, you feel the peril because it was real. Incredible skill and bravery.
But her courage wasn't just for the planned stunts, was it? There was that incident during the holy sequence.
Oh, that was terrifying. During the chaos of the holy scene, when Gabbar's men attack the village, there are horses running everywhere. And a little girl who was part of the scene actually fell right in the middle of it all.
Oh my God.
Reshma was supposed to be running through the horses as part of the action. She saw the girl fall, didn't even think, she just reacted.
What did she do?
She dove, grabbed the child mid-fall, rolled on the ground to shield her with her own body, making sure the kid didn't get hurt at all, and then scooped her up and kept running through the horses.
Unbelievable. Was she okay?
Reshma got badly bruised herself, but the little girl, not a scratch. Dharmendra saw the whole thing happen. He came up to her right after the shot and gave her 100 rupees.
Wow. That was a lot of money back then, right?
Definitely. Her daily wage was about 175 rupees, so 100 was a significant gesture of appreciation for her bravery. Just pure instinct, saving that child.
And then there was the other Tonga scene.
Yeah.
The accident, where it actually crashes. That sounds incredibly dangerous.
That was maybe the most dangerous moment. The scene where Basanti's Tonga hits a rock, a wheel breaks, and the whole thing flips over violently. Reshma was in the Tonga for that stunt.
What went wrong?
The plan was to use a fake wooden wheel designed to break easily and safely on impact. But somehow, by mistake, a real heavy metal wheel was used.
Oh, no.
So when it hit the rock, it didn't just break. It dragged, the Tonga gained momentum, and it threw Reshma clear before overturning with incredible force. It was a genuine, uncontrolled accident. She was seriously injured.
You can almost feel that reality watching those scenes, can't you? The chase and that crash. Knowing she did that, knowing about the accident, it adds another layer.
It really does. Her commitment was immense. And her story also highlights the challenges she faced just being a woman doing that job back then.
What kind of challenge?
People would literally question her, say things like, "You're so beautiful. Why are you doing this dangerous work? What if you get a scar? Who will marry you?" That kind of societal pressure.
Wow. Hard to imagine.
But for her, it wasn't about marriage prospects. It was about survival, feeding her family during tough times. That was her motivation. And Sholay, it was a massive turning point for her.
How so?
It gave her huge recognition, credibility, proved she could handle the toughest stunts. She became the go-to stunt woman after that. And it's wonderful, really, that her story finally got told in a biopic in 2019 called The Sholay Girl, a full circle moment.
That's fantastic. Such bravery deserves recognition. And, if you're finding these stories as compelling as we are, drop a comment below. Share your own other opinions or maybe a Sholay memory you have. We really love reading those.
Yeah, definitely comment. Now, moving beyond the incredible people, let's talk about the words of Sholay, the dialogues.
Yes. Mahesh Pod said something profound. Sholay doesn't just entertain us, it actually becomes us. And that feels so true, doesn't it? The lines aren't just lines. They're like proverbs now, part of everyday talk.
Absolutely. And the characters. You say Basanti in India, everyone knows exactly who you mean. There's only one Basanti.
Totally iconic.
And what was really groundbreaking about Sholay, looking back, is Gabbar Singh. It was pretty much the first major Indian film where the most popular, most quoted dialogues belonged to the villain.
That's a great point. Usually it's the hero's lines people remember.
Right. But Amjad Khan played him so superlatively. Those lines just stuck. Tera kya hoga, Kalia, what will become of you, Kalia? Or that chilling delivery of Puri 50,000, a full 50,000.
Goosebumps even now.
They became cultural shorthand overnight. Social scientist Shiv Viswanathan called the dialogues proverbial, aphoristic, dramatic, and fundamental to an Indian imagination. It just shows the power of brilliant writing and performance.
And it wasn't just Gabbar or Basanti. Think about the minor characters. People still remember Rahim Chacha, the Imam, or even Kesho Mukherjee's tiny cameo as Hariram the Barber.
Totally. And Mac Mohan as Samba. He barely had any lines, mostly just sat on a rock. But his one response to Gabbar,
Puri 50,000.
Exactly. Those 3 words became his identity for the rest of his life. People apparently shouted Samba at him wherever he went.
That's amazing. And Viju Kote as Kalia. the guy on the receiving end of Gabbar's question.
Yeah, he famously talked about how tough that role was physically, said the horse he rode was really temperamental and threw him off like 6 times. Lots of aches and pains.
And his payment for that iconic, albeit painful, role.
Get this, just 2,500 rupees. For all that trouble and becoming part of cinematic history, it just underlines how powerful these characters and lines became, embedding themselves so deep they completely transcended the movie itself.
It's incredible. But how did these dialogues become so universally known, so deeply embedded? It wasn't just people seeing the film over and over in theaters, was it? There's another piece to this puzzle.
Yes. This is a crucial, often forgotten part of the story. It involves the record company, Polydor. They had the music rights for the film.
And initially, the music album wasn't selling that well.
Right.
Right, because the film itself had that slow start.
Exactly. Polydor was worried. The songs weren't exactly flying off the shelves, but they noticed something interesting about how audiences were reacting to the film.
What did they notice?
They saw that people in the theaters and outside were absolutely hooked on Salim Javed's dialogues, quoting them constantly. They realized the real soundtrack people were responding to wasn't just the music, it was the words.
Okay, so what did they do?
They had a stroke of marketing genius. A truly unprecedented move at the time. Within about a month of the film's release, while it was still struggling a bit, Polydor released an LP, a 58-minute long playing record.
Of the songs?
No. Of Sholay's dialogues. Just the spoken lines edited together. Can you imagine? An entire album of dialogue.
That's wild. Did it work?
Phenomenally well. An article from 1976 said it sold like crazy, flew off the shelves. It was a radical idea, but it tapped into exactly what people loved about the film.
You have to remember the context here, right? 1970s India.
Absolutely crucial context. It was overwhelmingly an audio world back then. Most of India was a radio country. TV access was extremely limited. Record players. Also not widespread, mostly for the affluent.
So this dialogue record.
It meant that Sholay's dialogues weren't just heard in cinemas. They absolutely blared for months at homes, in shops, markets, and fairs, in inner India's small towns, kasbahs, and mufassals. People were listening to the film over and over again, internalizing every line, every pause.
Wow. So people knew the script by heart before they might have even seen the film multiple times.
Pretty much. There's this great story of a reporter in a theater watching a guy who was literally reciting every line just before the actor said it on screen. He knew it that well from the record. Apparently, he only stopped when someone near him finally said, "Hey, buddy, we can all do that too."
Yeah, that's brilliant. It really shows how the film permeated the culture through sound, not just sight. A totally different kind of audience engagement than we have now. It was heard, memorized, lived with.
It absolutely was. And that deep audio-driven saturation helps explain its incredible legacy, which, as we keep saying, is such a contrast to that initial reception. Remember those terrible reviews?
Oh, yeah. Critics hated it initially.
Yeah.
But then
came what our sources call a classic case of overcompensation. The pendulum swung the other way, hard. By 2005, Filmfare magazine declares Sholay the best film of 50 years.
From Shaggy Dog Western to best film of 50 years, that's quite the turnaround.
Huge shift. And it wasn't just in India. Its international reputation grew massively, too. In 2002, the British Film Institute poll called it the greatest Indian film ever made.
Wow. Global recognition.
And it continues. It gets screened at major festivals all the time, Toronto, London, New York. It just has this enduring power that crosses borders.
And then there's that amazing fun fact, the Sanskrit version.
Isn't that wild? 2006, University of Maryland students actually wrote and performed Sholay in Sanskrit as a way to get more students interested in learning the language.
Gabbar speaking Sanskrit. How does a film go from being dismissed to being studied and translated into a classical language? It must tap into something really universal, right? Powerful storytelling.
It truly seems to be a global phenomenon. Think about that screening in Bologna, Italy. An open-air screening, Piazza Maggiore. 2,000 people, mostly Italians who probably didn't know much Bollywood.
How did they react to long film?
They watched the whole 3-hour-plus restored version in what was described as pin-drop silence until 1:30 in the morning, just completely captivated. And then when it ended, incredible cheering. A huge, enthusiastic response from a totally new audience.
That's incredible. Pin drop silence for over 3 hours from 2,000 people.
Shows the power of the narrative, the visuals, the characters. And its reach goes even further. We saw an ex-post from Iran's consulate in Mumbai saying many Iranians still associate Bollywood primarily with Sholay. And an Iranian newspaper did a whole spread for its 50th anniversary.
So it just connects with people everywhere, across cultures, languages.
Yeah.
It becomes part of their cinematic memory, too.
But what's also really interesting is how even this behemoth of a film wasn't immune to the political realities of its time. Its story was actually changed by external forces.
Right, you mentioned it came out during the emergency in India, that repressive period.
Exactly. A 21-month period with heavy censorship, suspension of civil liberties, and that climate directly impacted Sholay, specifically the ending.
What was the original ending supposed to be?
In Ramesh Sippy's original cut, Thakur gets his revenge. Despite having no hands, he manages to kill Gabbar in a pretty gory way. It was a violent but dramatically fitting end to his quest for justice.
But the censors wouldn't allow it.
No. During the emergency, they saw that ending as too violent, maybe encouraging vigilantism, so they forced Sippy to change it. That's why, in the version most people saw for decades, Gabbar is arrested by the police at the end. A much more state-approved resolution.
And Mahesh Bhatt had a really interesting take on what that change symbolized, didn't he?
He did, a very powerful interpretation. He said Thakur, with his chopped-off hands, represented the common person's wounded conscience, their desire for justice. But, like the people during the emergency, Thakur was ultimately rendered helpless in delivering that raw personal justice himself.
So the censored ending, with the police stepping in, wasn't just about toning down violence. It reflected the powerlessness felt by many during that time.
That's Bhatt's view. He said that with that imposed ending, the fingerprint of those draconian times is etched on the enduring commercial classic. It became a subtle reminder of the repression they lived under.
Wow, that adds a whole other layer of meaning to the film, doesn't it? How politics can literally reshape art, leaving its mark.
It absolutely does. It raises big questions about artistic freedom versus state control, and how cultural products can become unwilling historical documents.
Well, this has been quite the journey through Sholay. We really hope this deep dive has given all of you listening a fresh perspective, maybe some surprising moments. Its path from flop to Fable is just incredible, isn't it? A real testament to its core power, those unsung heroes we talked about, and how it just grew into this shared cultural memory.
That quote from Anil Sharma really sums it up. Sholay now belongs to the public. It has ruled over people's hearts for 50 years. It will continue to do so for another 50 years.
It really makes you think, what other stories, what other films or books or music have truly become us in that way? Something to ponder.
Definitely. And if you enjoyed digging into these hidden gems with us, please do hit that like button. It lets us know you appreciate this kind of deep dive.
And we genuinely want to hear from you. What stood out? Any Sholay memories sparked by this? Share your other opinions in the comments below. We love the discussion.
Absolutely. And for more deep dives into all sorts of fascinating topics, make sure you subscribe to our channel, The Other Opinion. We're always digging into new material.
Please subscribe. And if you know someone else who loves Sholay or just enjoys uncovering hidden histories, share this deep dive with them.
Spread the word.
Okay, one final thing before we wrap up. Just want to be fully transparent here. This deep dive was put together using AI assistants to gather and structure the information from our sources. While we aim for accuracy, there's always a chance some details might not be spot on.
So we always encourage you. Do your own reading, check things out for yourself, and definitely form your own other opinions. Thanks for joining us.